My biggest fear when we started was that I was not trained to be a teacher. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't well enough equipped. I wasn't enough. I worried that I wasn't going to be able to provide my kids with the education they needed.
I felt like I was ruining them. I really thought I am messing it all up. I think behind every great kid is a mom who's worried she's messing it all up.
It's so funny, like even though you have an education, you still don't feel prepared. I remember asking so many questions to so many parents and feeling so ill-equipped to teach my 4-year-old.
And so when parents talk to me about homeschooling their children and why they are afraid that their kid's not going to get the education that they need, my question always is, why do you think they're getting the education that they need now? And usually if a parent steps back and looks at what's happening in the classroom, they will come to the same conclusion. It just has to do with confidence, and does that parent feel like they are equipped to teach their own child?
I would say if I can homeschool, you can homeschool. Because my experience in school, let me just tell you something, I barely made it through high school. And so that was something that very much intimidated me, is I'm not going to have the educational skills to be able to get my children through these years. You know, I mean, I hate to tell you this, but I went to pre-algebra and that was it. And then I just couldn't get past pre-algebra. And so all of that intimidated me, that I'm not going to be able to do this. But, you know, I found that once they got up to where I couldn't do it, I just got them a tutor and got them a little bit of help doing it. And a lot of the time they were able to figure things out themselves just because they had developed the skill of being able to figure things out on their own, some of the things that I wasn't able to teach.
You feel inadequate because you've been taught by our school system that you're inadequate. You're not inadequate. You are perfectly capable. I mean, what is it about a parent that when their child turns 5, all of a sudden the parents go, why like, oh, you're done. Now it's the school's turn to educate your child. You don't have to be that smart. You just have to have a love of learning. And then you can inspire a love of learning in your child. And so when you don't have to know the answer. When your child comes to you and says, Mommy, why are frogs green? You say, I don't know, let's go find out. And then you take the child over to the library and you get a book on frogs. Or you take the child to the computer and you look it up on the computer. Why are frogs green? And then the child learns, maybe Mommy doesn't know everything, but boy, she sure is invested in finding stuff out for me and finding stuff out for herself.
If those kids are in your home, you're qualified to teach them, and you care more about them than anyone else. The best paid teacher does not care about your kids as much as you do. They don't have as much invested in your kid. And look, I used to be a teacher, so as much as I cared for the students that I had in my classroom, they weren't my kids. And now that I'm at home with my kids, the challenges that they have, the interests that they have, the struggles that they have, I'm more interested in finding ways to help them solve those issues than I would have been if I was in the classroom. And not because I wouldn't have cared in the classroom, but because I was limited in my ability to actually affect change.
Sometimes when we think about education, we can think of it as giving our children an information download. I would just like to suggest to you, I think education is a lot broader than that. It's a lot bigger than just giving your child an information download. If you think of it that way, you can think, well, anybody can do that. Really, education is fundamentally about relationship, and that it's facilitated best in relationship. But in order to have that, you need to invest more time in them than anyone else, and you need to affirm them more than anyone else. So the question then is, when you look at the many hours that comprise their life, how do you buy that back? How can you get more of that time, and how can you affirm them more so that you buy more capital for the potential of influence?
Parents who feel like they've lost their children, or they can't have a good relationship with their children because their children have been weaned away from them. The school forms a wedge between the child and the parent. It can't help it. And by the way, I love teachers. I don't get down on teachers. It's the system. It's the institution. When you send them to the institution, the day you drop your child off at the school doors, you are telling that child, I can't and I won't.